Hello, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up, oil marketing companies start increasing fuel prices at the pumps, showing a 2% increase compared to the July 2nd first pricing window. We'll be telling you what this would mean to consumers. Also in this bulletin, the Association of Ghana Industries calls on Bank of Ghana to review its policy on forex indexing of clearing goods from 2 weeks to 90 days.
It's our prayer and the Bank of Ghana will review this set policy to a 90 days instead of 2 weeks every other week.
Plus, Ghana records significant improvement in economic growth post-COVID-19 despite persistent challenges in sub-Saharan Africa growth. We will hear from a new World Bank report.
Particularly around debt management issues, right? Now we are, and that has over time kind of hurt the score, has led to a decline in the score. But I think the country is in the right track.
We have details of these and many more arranged for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojo Baka, and we've got to begin business from the pumps because some oil marketing companies have started increasing prices of petroleum products. Now, a look at the new price shows that petrol increased by 2%, while diesel increased by 2.2%. More in the following report.
Shell has taken the lead, selling a litre of petrol at 15 cedis 10 pesos and diesel for 15 cedis and 25 pesos. Previously, Shell was selling a litre of petrol at 14 cedis 80 pesos and diesel was going for 14 cedis and 92 pesos. Another major OMC, Star Oil, has increased the price of a litre of petrol to 13 cedis 93 pesos and reduced the price of diesel to 14 cedis 70 pesos. Before the adjustment in prices, Star Oil was selling a litre of petrol for 13 cedis 88 pesos and diesel at 14 cedis 79 pesos. Some of the OMCs told Joy Business that the increase in prices is due to the rising prices of crude oil on the international market and the depreciating cedi. The outlook for the price of petroleum products does not look favorable as the cedi is yet to show signs of stabilizing against the dollar in the coming weeks.
And we've got to stay a while longer on this. Let's have a conversation. And joining us is a research analyst with the Institute of Energy Security, Derek Hatcher. And Derek, thanks so much for joining me on Business Live. Evidently, prices of fuel have gone up at the pumps by 2% and 2.2% for petrol and diesel, respectively. Just as you predicted, what could be accounting for that?
Pius, thanks for the opportunity, and then good evening to your cherished listeners. Basically, as you stated, two major factors are accounting for these price changes. The first one is the international prices, and then the second one is the cedi depreciation. And so on the international front, prices have gone up. Petrol went up by 3.17%. Diesel equally went up above 1%. And then for LPG, it went up about 12%. Now, for the cedi was not stabilized, or it wasn't stable. And these petroleum importing, these BDCs will need to import these refined crudes or products, and they will need to make use of the cedi or the dollar. Now, under the period, for the period under review, the cedi has depreciated or has lost some value by 1.9%. And so for these two factors, we expected prices to go up at the various pumps. And the reality is that prices are upward, or prices keeps going up at the various pumps.
And Derek, already some OMCs that we've spoken to fear there is going to be further increase in the coming weeks owing to the instability of the cedi, among others, just as you've enumerated. Now, is that really the case going forward?
So going forward, as I earlier stated, the two factors, which is the exchange rate and then the international prices, we do not have control over what happens on the international market. We are equally just like a price taker. So whatever thing that is being sold on the international market, that is the price that we get it for. What we have control by is to ensure that the currency is stabilized or is stable. And we've not been able to ensure that. For the month of June, on the international market, prices were falling, so prices kept reducing. But we were not able to take advantage of it because the cedi, as at that time, kept depreciating. And so as far as the cedi is not stabilized, even if something happens on the international market, we will not have any positive effect of it at the various pumps.
Again, consumers are complaining that fuel price increase is basically impacting on their cost of living. What interventions can be put in place to lessen the burden on them?
And so Ghana, one thing that influences the price of goods and services, as you stated, is petroleum prices. What the government have control over is to ensure that the domestic advantages that we have, we can take advantage of it. The first one is the BOST. BOST is a strategic reserve for the state. What are they doing? The reserve capacity. What are they doing? People continue to pay for BOST margins. Recently, it has been increased. And so far as BOST margins have been collected by the state, we expect that they will expand their tank farms and they'll be able to store enough of this refined crude, so that as periods as this, such that the market is not favorable, this stored product can be brought onto the market. We are not seeing that. The Temawa refinery continue to lie idle, is not refining any petroleum product. Assuming Temawa refinery is refining any petroleum product, you don't need dollars to be able to go for any refined product from that sort. You need cedis. So for these cedis, it will even stabilize the currency, to strengthen the Ghanaian currency. And the other thing is that the BDCs need access to forex. They did on monthly basis about $450 million. How much do they get from the Bank of Ghana? An allocation of $120 million. So the excess, which is about 70% of what they need, will need to be sourced from the black market. And this is at the higher rate. And so when they go and import this petroleum product, definitely they are not any NGO, they are not for the Christmas, they'll pass it on to the ordinary consumer. And these petroleum products do not have any substitute. And so when it happens that way, the ordinary consumer, the price passes on to the ordinary consumer, and because they don't have any substitute, they bear the cost, and that leads to that accounts for the excruciating cost of living.
I don't know whether you can offer this solution to consumers, but in these difficult moments like this, what should consumers do?
For consumers, we basically do not have any substitute for petroleum products. We can only call on government to look at the taxes and margins in the price build-up. Some of them are, I believe, its usefulness. The price stabilization and recovery levy, as the name stated, is supposed to stabilize prices, but we are not seeing any stability of those prices at the pumps. The second one is a special petroleum tax. We are not seeing the relevance of it. It's not accounting for anything. At the time that they introduced it, prices on the international market were quite low. Now the price on the international market is high. So the government more or less enjoying from windfall prices. And so that is what they are enjoying. So what is the consumer? Do something to lift the burden from them. BOST needs to be efficient. BOST needs to be operational. We are continuing to pay for BOST margins. There's nothing about it that the consumers are getting benefits for. And so for these measures, definitely we can only appeal to policymakers and government to be more effective and proactive to ensure that these prices of the various pumps are a bit stabilized. If not for anything, there is a need for it to be stabilized so that consumers can have some sort of respite.
Derek Hatcher, thanks so much for joining us here on Business Live. He's a research analyst with the Institute of Energy Security. Derek, thanks so much. Now, the Association of Ghana Industries is asking the Bank of Ghana to review its policy on quoting of forex to CD when clearing goods from 2 weeks to 90 days. According to President of the AGI, Humphrey Enyimdake, the current exchange rate volatilities and inflationary pressures are grinding some business operations to a halt. He was speaking at the SME Growth and Opportunity Summit organized by the Ministry of Finance. Here's a report.
The Growth and Opportunity Program prioritizes targeted interventions that support the government's goal of creating SME champions that can take Ghanaian products and innovations global. Dr. Enyimdake at the event said AGI will continue to collaborate with key stakeholders to provide mentorship program for SMEs.
SMEs encounter challenges of medium to long-term funding with competitive interest rates that are challenges to capital formation of most entities. Secondly, our capital formation are also impacted by the bi-weekly review of exchange rate at the port of entry via the Bank of Ghana policy on the forex management at the port of entry, which computes into the calculation of the forex for clearing of goods. This has significant impact on our cost. It has inflationary tendencies and has cascading effect on the debt of the economy. It's our prayer that the Bank of Ghana will review this said policy to 90 days instead of 2 weeks every other week.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam stressed the need for a better ecosystem for SMEs to drive growth for the economy.
We have consulted with stakeholders, including the Association of Ghana Industry and civil society,
to design selection criteria and financing instruments tailored to meet the needs of high-growth potential SMEs. Additionally, we recognize that financial support alone is insufficient, which is why the program includes comprehensive capacity building programs to upskill both beneficiaries and the wider business landscape.
On this part, President Akufo-Addo said the program will incorporate comprehensive capacity building programs implemented by all three partners.
These are challenges that must be overcome if we are to unlock the full potential of our SMEs. We must adopt a multifaceted approach that involves government, the private sector, and international partners. One of such initiatives is the Growth and Opportunity Program being spearheaded by the Akufo-Addo government.
Under the Growth and Opportunity Program for SMEs, the Ghana Exim Bank will be supported with 700 million Ghana cedis to offer SMEs highly subsidized financial support for both capital and operating expenditures and offer capacity building to program beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the Ghana Enterprise Agency, on the other hand, will be supported with 230 million Ghana cedis and targets high-growth SMEs employing 100 persons or less with small-scale grant and loans of up to 2 years at highly subsidized rates.
Meanwhile, my colleague James Ishen has been engaging some of the SMEs on how this amount should be structured to support the operations.
Small and medium enterprise sector as one of the key sectors that, contribute to the country's economy. And in our part of the world, it contributes like almost 60% of our economy. Now, over the years, we've realized that there are a lot of issues with respect to this particular sector. You could talk of technical, you could talk of also the financial aspect of it. I have here some SMEs who have been doing this for some years, but want to know what exactly they've been doing and also what are some of the challenges and how they are overcoming some of these challenges.
Yes, I'm Sadiq Abdullah. I am the CEO and co-founder of Tila Limited.
Right, I'll come back to you, but what do you also do?
My name is Stephanie Adongo, Tivonwa Enterprise. I am into packaging of local products.
Great. Now, you coming from the northern side of the country, how is it going? You being an SME, and for how long have you been running your operations?
Yes, the business got registered and incorporated under the laws of Ghana in 2015. So roughly we are about 5 to 6 years now since we started production. But we have been facing so many challenges due to legal requirements that you have to meet, and also we also have challenges in terms of acquiring financial assistance from the banks.
Talking about these challenges, over the years, have there been any support?
Yes, we have received so many supports from both government and non-governmental organizations.
How are these supports, are there any positive impact with respect to some of these supports?
Yes, we receive both technical and financial support, and all these supports have been able to assist us to travel up to this stage.
So he has spoken about access to the international markets and also getting some support. Share with us some of your problems or challenges you've been facing as an SME.
For the first time, I was into a very small business, and then I had a support from Ministry of Trade.
You spoke about training, and we know one of the key challenges within this space had to do with this capacity building. You spoke about yesterday, but have you been having more of this capacity building workshop where you know the technical side and how to, sort to push your business itself?
Yes, I've gone through some of these capacity buildings. I personally am into, my research area is foreign direct investment and economic growth. So if you want to export, then it means you are going out there.
I'll come back to delve more into the export. Now, for you, she's talking about exportation here, and she's raised concern with respect to packaging. We know packaging is very key when it comes to you guys, what you do. I don't know for you, how is the packaging whole process as for you? Is it expensive? Looking at the exchange rate volatilities and all that, how is it like?
Yeah, for the exchange, for the packaging, it's really an issue for SMEs like ours, because if you are going international, your packaging should meet international criteria so that you can compete well with your other competitors over there. So, and the unfortunate thing is that in Ghana, our packaging materials sometimes are not meeting the international requirements. So,
What's really the problem?
Yes, I don't know. Probably it could be in terms of capacity or the raw materials that they are also sourcing to do the packaging. That could be the material. I'm only speculating because I'm not in that sector.
These have been some of the concerns with respect to the small and medium scale enterprises we have in our part of the world. There are so many concerns, and there are definitely solutions to that. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
You're still watching Business Live. We are back with more. Please stay. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Ghana has seen some improvement in the growth of the economy from the impact of the COVID-19 and Russia invasion of Ukraine a few years ago. According to a new country policy and institutional assessment by the World Bank, Sub-Saharan Africa countries are still having challenges dealing with critical factors of economic growth as compared to their Western counterparts. Key among them are the issues of debt management and budget quality. More in the following report.
Ghana has witnessed stable performance in the overall score of the World Bank country policy and institutional assessment. Despite challenges with debt controls, there has been an improvement in fiscal policy, which has driven inflation downwards. The country performed high in the areas of fiscal consolidation through several revenue and expenditure measures, according to the report. Sub-Saharan Africa is still facing challenges with financial services and regulation for business growth, a situation hampering small and medium enterprise expansion. World Bank Africa Regional Chief Economist Andrew Dublin has been speaking with Joy Business.
There were aspects of Ghana's economic management that has slipped, particularly around debt management issues, right? Now we are, and that has over time kind of hurt the score, has led to a decline in the score. But I think the country is in the right track. It has improved. It's beginning to do the reforms. As you are aware, it has reached agreement with the official creditor committee with its debt, which we support, and that will lead Ghana towards maintaining fiscal sustainability and be able to have access to markets in the future and overall lead to growth and poverty reduction that the country obviously is interested in. So.
Dublin further raises concerns about election risks in Africa and how that affects investments on the continent.
We talk about elections specifically in Ghana, but in general what we found out in Africa is that elections are usually a period of a lot of uncertainty. They introduce a lot of uncertainty because it's not entirely clear whether there will be contestations in terms of the outcomes, whether there will be protests or conflict. And so what that does is that it leads investors to be a little bit more cautious, so they hold back and not actually commit. So that lowers investments and economic activity in general.
The report captures the impact of structural and policy interventions from January to December 2023.
The Ghana Revenue Authority has announced that it has exceeded its target of signing on 600 large companies on its eVAT platform by 40 companies. In May 2024, the Revenue Collection Authority hinted of its intention to bring on board 600 large companies onto its eVAT system by June of the same year to enhance revenue collection and monitoring. Speaking at a brief meeting with the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, the board chair of GRA, Joe Gatti, noted that the company is poised to achieve its revenue target for the rest of the year.
The visit to the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church by the Ghana Revenue Authority is to strengthen its partnership with the Methodist Church of Ghana. The Revenue Mobilization Agency, in its bid to achieve its annual target of 149 billion cedis by the end of 2024, partnered with the church to create awareness on tax compliance and engage members of the church to be tax-abiding. Reiterating GRA's intent of achieving its revenue target, Board Chair Joe Garte noted that GRA exceeded its target of listing over 600 companies on its electronic VAT platform, which aims to enhance collection and monitoring.
VAT is not your money. VAT is government's money. You are an agent for government, collecting money on behalf of government. Studies have shown that if it's digitized, it is easier to monitor and it will increase revenue. In the beginning, it was difficult to let people understand. So they set themselves a target of 600 large companies to be what they call onboarding, which simply means that should be put on a system which is digitized. By the time they were declaring their final results, they had reached 614. They had passed it by 40. We have set them a very high target for the next time. He set another target for 2 months. The board has set them a higher target. I know they will succeed by God's grace.
Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of Ghana, urged the general public to abide by the laws of Ghana and contribute their quota to the socio-economic development of the nation.
And I know that from the very beginning, our revered Father John Wesley made sure that the Methodist people complied with state regulations and paid their taxes, never to evade tax, nor to get themselves involved in any vices that would not be in the interest of the nation. And that has been our resolve. What comes from the pulpit, what comes from the church, the teaching from the church is what God requires of them. And as they grow into Christian maturity, payment of taxes is also part of the growth that will come into the individual's life.
The visit to the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church was led by the Commissioner General and the board chair of GRA, flanked by board members, deputy commissioners, and other high-ranking staff of the authority.
And that's our part company here on Business Life with me, Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, feel free to log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Fuel prices increased by 2%. Petrol now at 15 cedis 10 pesos. Diesel going for 15 cedis 25 pesos per litre. Also on that portal, Akufo-Addo praises Paris Club for supporting Ghana's successful IMF bailout. More stories there. Feel free to log on to that portal. See you at 8 p.m. with Prime Business.